welcome to episode 8 of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast. I'm BJ.
Vic.
We got to see Deadpool. What were your first of all, what were your first reactions, dude? First of all, like when you started watching the movie?
Oh my God! Right from the very beginning, right from the opening credits, when you saw the name, you saw like how they were introducing people. Like for director, it said some overpaid asshole or something like that for director.
Overpaid tool.
Yeah. So, and then the real heroes of the movies were the writers. So, like right then and there, you knew it was different. It was going to be different. Then you saw the what is it, People magazine of Hugh Jackman.
Oh my God. They did it like a Sexiest Man Alive with Ryan Reynolds one, part, and then they did the guy had like a trading card, a Green Lantern trading card in his wallet. And,
right.
That opening.
They made so many references to so many references to both Green Lantern and X-Men Origins, and
even a Blade Trinity, a Blade reference too, a Blade 2 reference.
Oh, what the fuck did he say?
It was toward the end of the movie or toward the middle or something like that, when he's just like, go watch Blade 2 at home or go watch it on video. I can't remember. It was something like that. I have to go watch that movie again because there's so many Easter eggs. It's ridiculous. But
yeah, it was. I think I lost my shit when he referenced. If it's a little late now, but spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie,
oh yeah, do not
just
listen to
this. A few things.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so the part. Oh fuck! What were we saying?
The references.
Easter eggs. Oh, I lost my shit when he referenced. Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy as Professor Xavier, and he's like, I can never get my universes right.
Right.
Like
oh my God, that was awesome. There were
so many great things about this movie. I don't even know where to start.
Well, I mean, the opening sequence was incredible. Like it was done. It was done so well. It was like this slow motion and camera moving around and showing all these references as that car is flipping through the air.
Just all the little jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was so well done. And like immediately, like you said, like we knew that movie was going to be great just right after that opening sequence. And it was genius, absolute genius. But what I liked about that movie is they did a lot of like kind of flashbacks and flashbacks and present time, but it was done like really, really well. It wasn't like some, editing gag or something like that. Like it made sense to the story kind of. And then like when they actually catch up, he actually references it. He's like, okay, we're all caught up now. And like, here we go. But the jokes were like a mile a minute. I mean, he, like we had said before, he was born to play that part.
Missed a lot of jokes because I was laughing so hard at the original joke, and everybody else in the audience was laughing too. So it wasn't just me, because there were some almost, oh my God, I think like 25 to 40% of the jokes were just literally laugh out loud.
Yeah, most of the jokes.
Stop laughing.
Most of the jokes hit like really, really well. And it wasn't over the top. It wasn't like roll your eyes kind of jokes. It was like laugh out loud jokes.
Yeah, they were really good. We said before in the last podcast that Ryan Reynolds could not have been a more perfect pick for Deadpool, because that's just who he is. So it's so it feels like it's so natural for him to do that, to have those quips and to break the fourth wall talking to the audience and that's perfectly well done too. He picks and chooses exactly when the right time to actually break the fourth wall is, and that was a really good thing, because I was afraid going in that when he broke the fourth wall that it wouldn't feel as natural as it does in a comic book, because there's that's two different mediums, and you can't really fake it, so you have to do it right on screen, because it's not going to read like a comic book.
Yeah, sometimes those things don't translate too well, but I thought it was pretty awesome. I've read some, naysayers or people complaining like they didn't understand. I think they didn't understand the character, so they were like complaining like, what's with the, him talking to the screen and blah blah blah. I was like, dude, that's who Deadpool is. That's what he does. He like kind of looks into nothing, looks into the audience, and he says these funny things. But in reality, I'm sure he's just looking into space and just saying it for his own amusement. But it works. It works really well. I was kind of surprised, like none of the characters went like, "Who are you talking to?" Most of the time, he was just by himself, talking to the audience. But sometimes he was
they
with
don't
other
really
people.
do it too much. In the comic books, I've only read a handful of comic books that Deadpool was in it, and when he breaks the fourth wall, it doesn't look like the rest of the characters in the comic books realize what he's doing.
Realize what's going on. Yeah.
Right, and what's crazy is when the movie was ending, I kept thinking like, what the fuck could they possibly show? And I was like thinking like it would be right there with them to do like Ferris Bueller, because that was the only character I could think that would constantly break the fourth wall. Growing up watching that type of movie, and I'm wondering, because Ryan Reynolds is around my age too,
Right.
wondering like, I wonder if they're gonna do like. I really seriously thought that they were gonna do the ending credits of Ferris Bueller, because that was technically I think that was the
only
first
logical.
time you ever saw an end credit scene.
Right.
That was that popular to my knowledge anyway. And I just kept thinking that they were going to do it. And I was like, no, that's just stupid. They'd probably do something else or tease a movie. And then they show the hallway, and like, oh my god, they're going to fucking do it.
I
They're gonna
couldn't
do
believe
Ferris
it
Bueller.
either. I didn't have the same thought as you did, but as soon as I saw the hallway, I was like, "Oh my god, that's brilliant!" I understand. Like, I immediately connected the two dots. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." Because he's always breaking the fourth wall, and Ferris Bueller, like you said, did that throughout his whole
Right.
movie, and it worked. It was so funny. People were really cracking up. But he does the whole announcement thing about Cable, and nobody really gave a crap about that. And I kind of at the same time was like, well, that's a little disappointing, because I read about that like a week ago, that they were going to be doing a sequel with Cable. But the whole bit with the Ferris Bueller thing was pretty funny. I thought it was like perfect ending to a perfect movie.
Right.
So what other did you like? The sidekick, I think his actor's name is T.J. Miller. He does some. He kind of plays the same character all the time, but he does it so fucking well. It's freaking hilarious.
I loved him in fuck, I can't remember that. He was in a comedy where he played the best friend of one of the guys from Knocked Up.
Oh,
And she's not that into you, or what the fuck is that movie
maybe that could be it. I think I know what you're
It's
talking
a
about.
comedy, but he was the guy's best friend.
But he stole the show every time he was on the screen.
Yeah, and Kristen Ritter is actually in that movie.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, she plays the best friends of Alice Eve.
Oh, okay. That's the movie with Jay Baruchel too.
Yeah, that's the movie. I can't think of the fucking name.
Yeah. Canadian dude, little scrawny dude. He's pretty funny. He does like the voice of the guy on How to Train Your Dragon, the main character.
She's Out of My League. That's what it's called.
She's Out of My League. Yeah, he was pretty funny. I think that was the first time I saw him, and then he really blew up for me. There's a show on HBO called Silicon Valley. That's
I never saw it.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking great. You have to watch that show. It's so good, and he's really super funny in that. But I liked his character in this movie. He had a lot of good one-line jokes, and I really loved that they came up with the name Deadpool based on the death pool that they had up on the wall for betting on when people are going to die.
Yeah, that's not how it happens in the comic books. That's not how he gets his name, actually.
Right.
He actually, the whole cancer thing, that was from the comics.
Yeah.
But he's actually given the serum after he joins Weapon X, and that serum is, I think, has Wolverine's healing factor in it.
I'd
So
have
that's
to.
how he
That would make
that's how he gets his.
sense. Yeah, that would make sense because he
And
literally becomes indestructible.
in the movie, they like do this whole story arc where he has to be, like scared shitless in order for the mutation to happen, and that's how he becomes,
Oh, right.
ugly.
That speeds
But
up
in
his
the comic books,
yeah.
they actually, from what I remember, the Deadpool is, I think it's like a bet, just like in the movie, but it's from the inmates or the people that they had captured there, fighting each other, and the Deadpool was them betting on who would die because
Oh,
he was like a
okay.
prisoner or something. And the reason why he's all fucked up like that, I think, is because they were torturing him and making him fight or something like that. So
Right.
it doesn't happen from him getting his mutant powers
Right.
like in the
Well,
movie. But I was
it's
okay with it. I
yeah,
was
I
okay
was
with what they did.
yeah, I was okay with it too, and I was even okay with the fact that he was chasing that guy down. So the guy, because the guy said, "Oh, I can fix your looks and all that," and so like he goes and actually chases him down. And
Right.
what made me laugh at the end is that he puts a gun on him. He's like, "Okay, you're gonna help me change or whatever." He's like, "Dude, I can't do anything for you." And he's like, "Well, what's the point of keeping you alive?" It was like such a, it was great. I was like, and then I think the biggest
And then
laugh.
Colossus. Yeah, yeah.
That was the biggest laugh. The biggest laugh that the audience gave was when Colossus does that whole speech about, life is precious
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing and don't kill him and all that. And there's 4 or 5 moments in your life where that defines who you are. And as he's talking, Deadpool shoots
just
the guy in the
fucking blows
head.
his head.
I love that. I was like and then Colossus starts throwing up and oh my God, it was so funny.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, we lost our shit too in the movie when
I
Colossus
lost
started
it.
throwing up. It was so goddamn funny.
I mean, that got the biggest laugh. Yeah, everything about that movie. There's so many. Even what's the name of the girl? Oh God, Negasonic.
Morena.
Negasonic.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Warhead.
That's her real name in the comic book.
I know, and I just love. He just goes Negasonic. What? Fuck, that name is cool.
And that's an actual homage to how that character became an X-Men too, because they just came up with this name, and there was like they thought that there was a fucking cool name, so they had to get the name into the comic books, and that's how
That's
she became an
great,
X-Men.
man. It just a lot of you could tell that people just loved this character in the comic books so much that they added a ton of stuff in. But the other cool thing about this character is that you can make sequels and do different things. Like I'd like to see him paired up with Cable in the next movie. I think it's a really good contrast, and I like
Isn't
that.
Cable from the future though?
I think so, if I remember right, but I don't know how they're going to kind of mess with that. But I don't know. And Cable's a villain, though, right?
No,
No, he's
no.
a
Cable is
I thought he was a
actual.
villain turned good guy, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, he's actually. That's why they pair well together because Cable's pretty straight edge military. He's from I think he's was in the military, or whatever. And he's again he's straight edge or whatever, and he's the exact opposite of Deadpool. So that's why they work so well together.
Okay, so now here's the
comic
question: who the flink are they going to get to play that character?
I don't know. I was thinking when the movie was over that I was afraid of the sequel, kind of, because this movie is so unique
Yeah,
in
it
everything
is.
that it is, and it makes me nervous because if they pull the same jokes or pull the same moments to try and make you laugh, like that whole opening sequence when you're looking at all these Easter egg stuff like the Hugh Jackman and People magazine and
That which was an ongoing
fact that he
joke.
was-
That the Hugh Jackman
and
thing
then
was
the
an
fact-
ongoing joke.
yeah, and in the beginning where he's sitting on his face in slow motion too.
That's right. when he's
So
packing his
with
he's-
a movie
Yeah.
with a movie like that has this many jokes, I don't want to see Home Alone 2. You know what I mean? Like Basically, that's the same identical thing. Only he
Oh
gets fucking
shit!
lost in New York.
A paint can again. Come on, man.
Yeah. So that's what that's why I'm afraid of this movie with the sequel. I'm hoping that they stay away from that type of rehashing the same jokes and punchlines and things like that, and carrying new jokes over. Because like remember in Austin Powers,
Yeah.
the ongoing joke was they cut off the words before the next person said it was a big cock in the sky. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. It gets old.
The next person says Johnson. So, but they kept doing that joke over different things,
Right.
And that's what makes me afraid of Deadpool too.
It's lazy
but
writing.
It'll definitely be in my top 10 because right now, in 2016, this is so far this is the best movie I've seen in 2016.
Right. And it'll probably stay that way for a little while. I just, reading the Batman v Superman reviews today, not reviews,
Well, they
but
said
like
the same things that we've said for a long time, and unfortunately, we didn't record that.
Yeah, because months ago, and you've said this, but like months ago, I told you, I'm like, oh, those, the executive said it was so amazing, and you're like, of course they're going to say that because they don't want to, they're not going to talk bad about their movie, but like now there's like talk of not necessarily not necessarily that the movie's bad, but they watched it and they're going, this is not strong enough to back up a Justice League movie, to start into a Justice League movie. Like we might need to push it back and do do a Batman movie in between somewhere, do an Affleck Batman movie, and maybe that'll push it into the Justice League movie.
Many times, unfortunately, again, we said it so many times, unfortunately not on the podcast, but that we've said before that Zack Snyder just knows how to film action and put a comic book frame on the screen. I don't think there's anybody who shoots a single like that scene in the trailer where Superman is holding the missile up over his head and landing. That's like straight out of the fucking comic books right there.
Yeah, big time.
But the problem is that most of his movies, basically all of his movies, other than maybe 300, but that he was adapting that. Any original movie, you don't give a shit about anybody, and it's really hard to be invested in a superhero movie when if you don't like the superhero or can't, be there with the superhero throughout the story, you don't care. But we'll talk about that when.
Oh yeah, when that comes closer,
comes out. But here's the other thing too. If you hired Zack Snyder to direct, these movies, what did you think you were going to get?
Right.
That's like if I asked that's if I asked Michael Bay to direct Shakespeare, and it turns out like shit.
And they're
he
explosions.
Puts like a fucking aircraft carrier in Romeo and Juliet.
They're like, there were no explosions in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, can you explain to me? This is Romeo and Juliet. Why is there a helicopter flying at sunset?
Why did a robot kill the Montagues? What the hell's going on here? Yeah.
Why? How come you have 4 sunsets in 2 days of your movies?
Speaking of Michael Bay, do you see that they put together that brain trust last year for the Transformer movies, and
brain trust. That's such a great name for Transformers.
Right, it's such an oxymoron.
Brain trust. Yeah, I know.
Like, let's put I'm like it.
Why don't I say Academy Award winner Michael Bay?
If I were on that brain trust, I'd be like, first order of business, let's fire Michael Bay.
You're fucking
let's
fired.
Get somebody else.
Yeah, you're fucking fired. Michael Bay is seriously like the Kardashians of the movie world, because like he's basically famous for just being like loud and obnoxious in his movies. Like, that's what he's known for, explosions and shit. And like the Kardashians are known for just being fucking whores.
Yeah, I just don't. So, but see, people just eat it up, man. And unfortunately, we're buying tickets too.
Exactly, and people eat up the Michael Bay Transformers. It makes no goddamn sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But I guess just explosions just went out. Like the acting is always terrible, the script's always terrible, but people just still go and watch the last movie made over $1 billion. And it's the worst movie. It's the worst.
I don't.
I don't get it.
I mean, I think I'd rather sit through Twilight than fucking any of his Transformers movies. At least Twilight is trying and just failing miserably. At this point, Michael Bay's like, I could put an exploding 20-foot dick on screen, and people will still come and see
Yeah,
it.
pretty much. But they're making, they're making what, 5, 6, and 7 or something like that, and they have one year after another, so it's like a trilogy. I think Fast and the Furious is doing the same thing. They're like, we're going to do 7, 8, or 8, 9, and 10, and then we're done, kind of thing. But I actually have more faith in way more faith in Fast and the Furious than Transformers. They treat Fast and the Furious, it's such an odd entity in the Hollywood universe but they treat it.
Never happened.
Yeah,
before.
they treat it well, and the fans love it, and they give the fans what they want. And in Transformers,
But they're getting better.
Yeah, they are. They're getting better.
No, I'm not. Yeah, Fast and Furious. They've been getting better. Was it the Fast 5 was the one where they were in where the Rock was
in
first
Rio.
introduced?
Yeah, that's where that was the game changer movie, basically.
Yeah, it was for me too because I didn't really care for that series, and then I was made to go watch that movie in the theater, and I walked away. I was like, "Holy shit, that was a really good movie." It was basically a crime heist.
Yeah, big time. They totally changed the way they did.
Yeah,
this.
exactly. And the second they changed the formula, I was interested because I don't give a shit about street racing.
I don't either. I like we've talked about it before. I like the team aspect. I like how each person has a skill, and I also like how they don't have a problem killing characters off. They did that in the 6th movie. I just like team movies. I don't know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go, and I hope they bring Kurt Russell back and all that stuff. And boy, man, Vin Diesel cannot make a movie by himself that's not Fast and Furious. All his movies that aren't Fast and the Furious are pretty terrible. I watched.
I didn't even see the last one.
Oh, the last Witch Hunter. I watched it. Do not watch it. Yeah. It is a complete utter waste of time. It's horrible.
I knew that watching the trailer. Why the fuck would you watch it?
I watched it because my fiance loves anything that's horror or like fantasy, witches and zombies and you name it. She loves it. So when that movie, finally came out, we were able to watch it, and even she enjoyed it.
I like sci-fi movies and comedies and stuff, but I wouldn't just waste money if it was just that genre of a movie. I like, if there was a sci-fi movie that was like Battlefield Earth, I wouldn't go and watch that movie.
No, see, the part of the problem is so if you compare The Rock with Vin Diesel, The Rock has this kind of charm or whatever that just works in a lot of different movies, and Vin Diesel doesn't have that. He's pretty one note. So I love him in the Fast and Furious movies, but everything else he's done, I can't. It's not the same thing. Even Schwarzenegger was able to cross over into a comedy to a certain degree. And The Rock, I loved him in The Rundown. I just watched that the other day. He had equal comedy and action in that. And I wish he would do more things like that. It seems like hey, our franchise is going downhill. Let's get The Rock. That's what's been happening lately. And,
right.
They should take Mark Wahlberg out of Transformers and put fucking Rock in there. It might class it up a little bit more.
I don't. Wahlberg's not bad, but again, it shows you how a bad director or a bad movie makes a good actor seem really bad.
Wahlberg for me is hit and miss too. I mean, there's certain movies he's fantastic in, and then other movies where he's just whiny. I can't, He does. I loved him in Boogie Nights, and the Ted movies, and all that stuff. He's really great in some of those. But then that same acting, he uses in other movies, it doesn't work. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably shell out my money to go watch Transformers again, for fuck's sake. I don't know.
Watched like the last 3.
Well, I mean, I think the
theater.
biggest reason now to do it is because we can podcast about it and make fun of it. That's probably the only reason why we're going to go see it.
Yeah, but that would mean I would still have to pay him money, and I'm not going to be part of that fucking.
You're like Beach. You're like Beach. Come down here
money.
and buy me a ticket, and I'll go.
No, don't even buy my ticket. I'm not going. Don't even waste your money. I refuse to give that fucker
You're
any
like,
money, even if it's
tell
not
me what the
mine.
movie's about. I don't want to go see it.
Look, if like 30 homeless people or homeless kids wanted to watch that movie, I'd be like, fuck no, you're not.
I'm
going
to buy you a burger.
Live on the streets. Yeah, I'm going to buy you. I'll buy you anything else other than a ticket to Michael Bay.
Even the toys are terrible. Man, I love the old G1
It should not
stuff.
take you 12 minutes to fucking transform a toy.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember when you got Jazz? It was a plastic piece of shit, and you ripped its head off.
I know. It was terrible.
You tried transforming it, and you fucking broke it 5 minutes later.
It's shitty, dude. The old G.
And the good thing is that it was such a piece of shit to begin with that you were just able to snap the head back on.
I did. I
no
snapped
problem.
it back on. I just gave it to you, didn't I? I'm like, here, just keep this. And like, and I think,
Yeah, you just.
and I think somebody
It pissed you off so
little
much.
kid broke
It pissed
it.
you off so much in the first time. You fucking just be like, fuck this thing.
fuck this toy. You keep it. That's funny. I know. That's those toys are not. I mean,
I tried transforming that thing when I was drunk and I ripped its arm off.
never play with Transformers.
I'm
when you're
fucking
drunk.
yelling at the toy. I'm yelling at the toy. I'm like, this is not how he transforms in the cartoon. And it was like, plastic and not metal like the old
Right.
Transformers. And I fucking ripped its arm off by accident because I thought that's what it was supposed to
Your
do.
retard string.
Because you fucking threw out the directions. I'm yelling at it like, how the fuck is this? How is this a kid's toy? Like, what the hell is this? I can't figure this out. I'm an adult and I can't figure out this toy.
Yeah, it's those. I had bought a whole bunch of those for my son too. He loved them when he was like 5. He was really good at transforming stuff. Didn't even need to look at the directions. And I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm like, whatever, dude. But
Are you saying your son's smarter than me?
he's
Fuck your
smart,
kid.
dude. He's really good at. He's really good at that stuff, taking apart things and putting them back together. He's like,
Well, you can look at it both. You can look at it 2 ways. You can look at it like you're looking at it like he's really smart, but we just spent like 10 minutes saying how retarded that is. And then the other way you look at it is your kid's really good at retarded things.
yeah, you're like, which one is it? I kind of think that
Yeah.
you're just dumb.
You're good at dumb things.
Yeah. Speaking of broken toys, I bought I bought a lot of the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch, for Force Awakens, and one of them was the clone trooper, Stormtrooper, First Order Stormtrooper. So I bought one for my son and put it on his wall, and he's like digging it and all that stuff. And I got a little jealous. I'm like, fuck, I want one of those. So I found one like one day because they were gone for months, and then I finally found one and brought it home. And I was like, I'm going to open this thing up and display it because I have a Kylo Ren I opened up and I displayed that. So I opened it up and I'm not even joking. It's out of the box maybe 5 seconds. And I go to like move the arm to like pose it and the arm rips off. I was so pissed off. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? A $20 toy? Like, it's like, in other words, it's not even meant to be taken out of the box. It's like, buy this box and then put it on the wall. Don't ever open it because the toy is a piece of shit. We don't want you to know. It's like it's.
Did you rip its arm off because you tried transforming it?
Yeah, I tried transforming it and it fucking broke. I was like, "What the hell?" I thought I was supposed to turn into a robot or a car.
That's probably what the engineers who designed the toys are probably like. They're never going to play with this thing.
That's what I'm saying, man. I posed it and it broke right away. I was so angry, and I tried to look for like a super glue, and I had already threw the receipt away because I had it for like a couple weeks or whatever, and I finally opened it up and broke it. And I was really angry. So I'm like, now I'm trying to find another one so I can replace it. Just take the other one back. Oh man, I get so irritated about stuff like that. It's like, it seems like, especially with these toys, these particular Star Wars toys, even though they look better than past toys, they're put together really shoddy. I just don't understand it. It's like, take pride in your work and make something look nice. That's why I love the Disney Elite figures. They're fucking fantastic. They're so nice. and they've got weight to them, and you can't really pose them all that like totally well, but they don't break. They won't break. You know, they're really sturdy and really heavy, and they only cost like $5 more than the Black Series. So I just hope they keep making those Disney Elites and go back and make the old school ones, and I'll start picking up those little by little. But yeah, I'm just really upset the way toys are made really chintzy these days, and they jack up the prices and all that stuff. So there's my little, I'll get off my soapbox.
How long has it been since we talked about Deadpool?
Oh, right. So there's this movie Deadpool we watched last night. But
I can't remember the last time.
You know what's funny is like
we talked about Deadpool.
If you look at, I got this email from Sideshow Toys the other day, and they have a Deadpool action figure coming out, and also a bust or a statue or whatever. And it looks awesome. It looks really awesome. Like if I
was it the movie Deadpool?
It's the movie version. It looks freaking fantastic. I would totally, if I collected that kind of stuff, I would buy it. But
yeah, they nailed the costume in the movie too. I was surprised how well that transferred. Well, I mean, they made some adjustments to it, so he's not really wearing tights anymore. But they did a really good job transferring, what's in the comic book onto screen.
They did, and
make it look real. Yeah.
I loved how he came up with it though. Like, wasn't he wearing all white, and then he got blood on it? He's like, God damn it! Like he killed somebody, he got sprayed.
Yeah.
He's like, that was so funny. So he's like, I got to make the suit out of red, so it doesn't show that when people bleed or I'm bleeding. That was great.
I like the part where he almost has the mask down. But it's basically like a sock over his head with the red and the black painted, and he's talking to the guy or something, and he comes back all pissed off. He's like, "What is it? They can't hear me in this thing?"
That's right.
And I thought that was like a little a rip on like Spider-Man or something.
It might have been, but also, it's kind of how his suit evolves in the movie. He has to keep making changes, but it's kind of, I like that. I like that they didn't just one day show up and have this awesome suit. Like he showed how he kind of like it went through some changes, and I thought that was cool because like that was one of my biggest gripes about Spider-Man was that in the beginning he did have like a funky sock on his head and a ski mask and all that shit, and I thought okay that's cool, but then like he designed this crazy ass like awesome looking suit. And I was like, come on, wait a minute. Like, even Kick-Ass, like, ordered his suit on Amazon or some shit. And, like, he put it together.
Well, the Andrew Garfield one, you saw that he was making it out of like, skiing material or something
like almost like a Gore-Tex material.
So they actually showed him doing it that way. The Tobey Maguire one, they don't show you anything. He just draws it on screen, and then all of a sudden he's got the suits.
Right. Like he's got like this 3D printer thing that just designs his suits or something. Which actually, that would have probably worked out nowadays. You could do that in a superhero movie nowadays. You can put something in a computer and it'll just sew it out. It'll put it together for you.
But I mean, the lenses alone for his mask, Spider-Man's mask, the lenses alone are Oakley lenses apparently for the first movie.
Oh, really?
And
interesting.
They're more than Peter Parker could afford.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I know. That's so true, man. Like he's fucking broke all the time. But
yeah, exactly. Where the fuck do you get off getting lenses like that custom made?
Come on, you had to have stolen those out of the sunglass shop or the web. Come on, man. Yeah, you wonder if like these people, like if they ever use their superpowers for bad or whatever. If anyone would do that, I would think Deadpool would do it. But even he has some sort of morals or values. But
I like how he called the X-Men the boy band. It's like, I'll think about joining your boy band. And then Colossus is like, it's not a boy band.
That's so awesome. He gives Colossus such a hard time, man. Such a hard time.
I love the reaction to when Ajax escaped and he did the Deadpool Home Alone thing.
Yes.
I fucking nailed that. That was awesome.
That was really, really good. Well, speaking of
And then he
speaking
just
of
loses his shit.
speaking of
And then he breaks his arm and legs
oh yeah, that's right.
fighting Colossus.
Right.
He's just standing there.
He's hopping on one foot. It was kind of like a Monty Python thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Oh, remember when he got shot in the asshole and he's just laying there with his ass up in the air?
And he shoots the guy in the face. He's like right up Main Street.
And then he shoots him like 3 or 4 more times because he got shot in the asshole by that guy.
Oh, that's right. He only had 4 bullets left, and he's all like, you know, he kept shooting 2 more. He shot 2 more, and he's like, damn it, I only have 1 left. And he's like, but it was worth it. Yeah, they did some really perfect one-liners in that show. It's just one after another, but every single joke hit. You know, just really.
I think if I had one complaint to that movie, is that I saw between the test footage and the trailer a lot more than was led to believe.
Oh.
Because a lot of what was the leaked footage that was 5 minutes long?
Well, yeah,
Something
that was
like
a
that.
test footage reel like that.
But about 5 minutes long, right?
Yeah, it was like 5. It was like 4 or 5 minutes long.
Basically almost the same jokes.
Yeah. Well, what it was, if I remember right, that was what they were going to show the executives to try to sell them on the idea on a Deadpool movie. But the Deadpool movie at that point was dead. No pun intended. It was dead. And someone leaked the footage. Which who came out and said they leaked it? Did anyone come out and say they leaked it yet?
No, Ryan Reynolds said this week that he's 70% sure that it wasn't him.
That's awesome. But they leaked it, and it debuted at Comic-Con, and my brother actually was there in the audience when he saw it, and he texted me right away, and he's like, you got to go online and see if you can find this thing. I think it's up online now. And so I saw it, and I flipped out. I was like, why aren't they making this right now? This is incredible. This is exactly the way Deadpool should be. And then not even a few days later, they said, we're greenlighting the movie. And it started filming last March, and it was done filming in May, and now here it's February, and it's out. You're talking a year and a half later, boom. You know, it was that fast. So
yeah, they could not have done a better job with this movie.
Oh my
seriously.
God, it's just power of the fans, and you know, this director, I guess, has been around for a while. He's I'd never heard of him before, but he really nailed it. I mean, they got to give this guy the sequel for sure. Bring everybody back because they did
definitely.
such a fucking awesome job. You know. So one of the running gags that I really liked was the fact that Ajax, his real name was Francis, which, you know, he learns the name while in captivity, and so like through the whole movie, he's doing that thing where he's just like, "What's my name?" and he won't say, you know, and they have this like, you know, running gag throughout the whole thing. And then the very end, when he goes, "What's my name?" and he doesn't say anything, and then he lines up all those bodies on the ground. And then that was so fucking awesome.
It spells out Francis.
It spelled out Francis, all the dead bodies. Oh my God, that was awesome. So awesome.
I love the fact that he left all the fucking guns in the taxi.
They do this like major sequence where they're loading up all these guns, and then next thing you know, you see Hugh Jackman on the Sexiest Man Alive People magazine thrown in the bag.
Yeah,
and
the duffel bag has got like pink bunnies on it, or no, pink kittens or something
yeah,
on it.
oh my God. So before we get into that, there was that one scene where he's like fast forwarding. He's like, we're all caught up. Let's fast forward, and he stops in the middle, and you see him jerking off while playing with a unicorn. I'm like, what is this? He's like, we're not supposed to see that. Keep going.
And then the payoff later is when he's talking to the old lady, who's another Easter egg, Blind Al.
Yeah,
and he picks up the unicorn, and then he picks up the lotion.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go in the back. Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah.
How about when he touched Blind Al with his little hand that was growing back?
He goes. What did he say? He's like, I'm gonna go do this now while my hand, because it'll make it look big or something. It'll make it feel
yeah,
big.
it'll be huge. It'll feel huge.
A little baby hand.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
That's so
because like
funny.
Colossus, like he handcuffs him and he cuts his own hand
He
off.
cuts his own.
That was pretty
Yeah,
gross, but I was like, oh yeah,
they
that's right.
he referenced so many movies in that movie. He referenced 127 hours in that movie too. Before he did
That's
it.
right. That's right. Before he cuts his hand off. That's that's right. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah, he references all the X-Men shit. He references Green Lantern, references Blade, references
He even had
X-Men Origins.
the Deadpool action figure.
He had
Remember
the Wade Wilson mouth shut. Oh, that got a huge laugh too and a clap. People were clapping when they saw that little figure. That was great. Everything about this movie's great.
He knows it. He made. Oh my god! Right off the bat, he was making fun of Green Lantern and X Men Origins.
Right off the bat.
Remember right before. Well, remember right when. Also, well, this is like kind of a quarter of the way in, but he says, "Don't make my superhero suit green or animated."
Right, right. When he's being pulled into taken down to go get surgery or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. He says that. Well, the running gag is definitely, the Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. There's like just a running gag through the whole thing. Like he even said, like, what's it gonna take to make this movie or something like that? Like, whose balls do I have to play with or whatever to get this movie made? It was great, and then even like at the very end when his girlfriend takes his mask off, he's got a Hugh Jackman face mask on.
I got a huge laugh
It was
too.
awesome.
He's actually has it stapled to his fucking face.
He did. He had it stapled to his forehead and his chin. Oh god, that was awesome. Yeah. What would make the next movie great is if Hugh Jackman does a cameo as Wolverine. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
Well, he said that the Wolverine that he's filming now is the last time.
Yeah, but you never know.
So
you never know.
Well, it's probably best if he is going to stay away or if he's going to be in Deadpool 2 that they do it sooner than later because 20th Century Fox will try and find the next Wolverine as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. I don't know how you replace Hugh Jackman, but then again, I didn't believe they could replace William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelley either with the Star Trek. So anything's possible. It's just
well, I think I'm kind of ready. Not that I'm sick of Hugh Jackman being Wolverine, but there is almost like a Wolverine overload. This will be his third standalone X-Men movie. No other.
He's been in
X-Men
every single movie. Yeah, he's been in every single X-Men movie with the exception, I think, Apocalypse. Unless he makes a cameo, but I don't. Yeah, I don't see that happening. So, but he's been in every single one. And this is 15 years going, 16 years going. So, it's time. It's time to hang up the claws and go
because it's not like he's the. I mean, he's huge. Like he's jacked.
Yeah,
but he's not. He's like over 6 feet tall. Wolverine in the comic books is under like 5'9", I think, or 5'8".
Yeah, something like that.
Really short.
And if they're going to do it, they're probably going to distinguish him, way different than Hugh Jackman. So they might even put him in the, in the suit or with the, the mask with the ears and all that stuff. And
yeah, I don't know how
which
they're
they
hinted,
hinted,
do that,
which they hinted at that. If you watch isn't there a post credits to Wolverine, where he opens up the box? This box, he's in the jet.
It's not the yellow and blue costume. It's the brown and the brown and the light brown.
Right. Which I really got excited about. I was like, oh shit, are they really going to do this? And then nothing ever comes of it, really. In Days of Futures Past, he's just kind of, again, he's the main character running throughout that movie.
Right, because originally it's actually supposed to be Kitty Pryde.
Kitty Pryde, yeah, that's right. So
that didn't happen.
No, they pretty much threw continuity out of the window too. I mean, it's all over the place right now. But
the way that they explain the time travel, they kind of wrote themselves into a corner to actually have to use Wolverine to do it because the way that they were explaining it in the movie was that it would just rip somebody's mind to shreds, and the only person that could actually survive that continuous like time jump or whatever was Wolverine's
Right,
regenerative
because he
powers.
can heal constantly, re-heal. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that plot point. I was trying to remember why they
So
chose
like
him
they
to go
again
back.
they wrote themselves into a corner. They couldn't because they couldn't even send Professor X back.
Right.
So they wrote themselves into it where Wolverine had to be the main character, even though when McAvoy and Fossenbacher, that's his last name, right?
Fassbender.
Whatever.
Who
The new Magneto.
Orville Redenbacher and the popcorn guy and the
So,
yeah.
but they had a good rapport. Oh, they have a good rapport.
Yeah.
And it was played out really well in Days of Futures Past.
Yeah, no, it was a great popcorn movie. I really loved that. And Quicksilver really stole the show in that one scene, which I heard they filmed last or something like that. That's something that was an afterthought scene that they decided to put in there, and it was absolute genius.
Did you read the article about this one, the Quicksilver scene that's in Apocalypse?
No.
So it took them 2 months to film a 3-minute segment.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
they said
love that shit. I
blows the
love
other
that.
one. I guess because they had to do something that, was way over the top more than the first one,
Oh, cool.
and this one is not like a comedy relief type thing, whereas the first one was. This one they're saying is
A necessity?
something serious. Basically, I think they leaked it or in the conversation where the sequence is him saving the kids in the mansion when Apocalypse attacks.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Well,
I
we'll
guess
see.
it's him like, running out with kids constantly or whatever. It's got to be
Zipping in
something
and out.
crazy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
The one, after seeing the Super Bowl trailer, it looked like Apocalypse. He can grow, like he can make himself huge.
Well, he
and all
could
that.
in the comic books. Yeah, in the comic books he could do that.
Yeah, because it shows him regular size, and he grabs the James McAvoy character, Professor X, and shoves him to the ground, and then he like just gets giant all of a sudden. I was like, what the hell? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, he can do that in the comic books.
And so the Four Horsemen, though, it looks like what Psylocke and Storm,
Archangel.
Dark Angel, and Magneto. Yeah,
Right.
crazy.
That wasn't the original one.
No.
Magneto is replacing somebody who makes you sick. I forget the name of that person.
And it looks like they're bringing pretty much everybody back, but in a younger self, because like Jean Grey is played by Sansa, the girl that's on Game of Thrones. And then Storm is played by a younger girl who looks pretty much like Storm. And, a young Cyclops. And the only person you don't see anywhere is Wolverine, but you just have to assume that Wolverine is in the Weapon X program or he's walking around in amnesia or something at that point.
Right.
So,
How about in Deadpool when he talks about the mansion? He's like, "No, wait, out here." He's like, "Oh, it's very spacious or it's very big. I wonder why I only see 2 X-Men." And he's like, "It's probably because the producers couldn't get enough money to put more X-Men in the movie."
right, that was great. I know, that was awesome. Because that's what everyone was probably thinking. They're just like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
They're off to some seminar. Yeah, I love how he's just like, he's just you two? What the hell? And I guess...
It's crazy how many times he broke the fourth wall, or not broke the fourth wall, but referenced other movies,
Yes.
other comic book movies and stuff like that, or other universes, and you still never saw it coming because you would be invested in the movie again at that time, not looking for another joke, and it fucking hits you, and you didn't see it coming.
Did he make any references outside of Marvel, though? Did he make DC references beside Green Lantern? Like, I kept thinking to myself, how are they getting away with this? Like, can they get sued or, for using certain... Well, actually, they never did say Green Lantern. They just referenced things that you already knew that immediately like, oh, they're talking about Green Lantern. They didn't...
I'm almost positive in the comic books that Deadpool has referenced like Superman or something like that.
Interesting.
Other DC characters, because he knows he's in a comic book.
Right. Oh,
So
that's
he
too
knows
funny.
this whole thing is a farce, and he knows So in this version, like in the Ryan Reynolds version, he knows he's in a movie, so he
Yeah.
references other movies instead of the comic books.
It's awesome. It's so well done. I mean, from top to bottom, every character you cared about. The sex scene between him and his girlfriend was just hysterical.
She's gorgeous. I love her. I loved her in Firefly.
Yes, and she's in Gotham, and
I don't like her in Gotham. I
yeah,
just don't like Gotham.
she's done other things that I think she's great, and but she plays crazy just like Wade Wilson. She's
Yeah, she does
perfect.
a really good job. She's really good. I was wondering how they were going to play off, but she played sarcastic pretty well.
Yeah, she did. Oh my god, that scene, where he's like on all fours and she's got the strap on. And I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. And he's like, no, he's like, ouch, like enough. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, and they're the Voltron ring, on the first date,
Oh,
like wins
yeah,
the Voltron.
great.
That was so funny.
Good.
No, just everything like the writing, everything was just really solid.
Even the part where he finds out that he gets cancer when it turns serious, it was serious.
Yeah.
And I felt for it because like they regardless of how funny like there's all the cutscenes were of them having sex on a holiday,
Yeah.
but it built this relationship weirdly, subconsciously somehow it built this like relationship with them and how much they were in love. And then when it cuts to the dramatic part where he finds out he's got cancer, it really worked. 'Cause
Yeah.
now all
It
of a
did
sudden I
really work.
forgot that I was, I all of a sudden forgot that it was, a comic book
A
and it was
Deadpool
Deadpool.
movie. Yeah, and you kind of felt for him. You felt for that relationship, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, and then
Yeah,
and then
that
it
was
ki-
that was out of the comic books too because he does leave her in the comic books.
yeah, yeah, and
So
you understand
and he
why.
leaves.
You understand. You're just like, okay, like he doesn't want to, become an invalid, and her watching him
Right.
slowly die and what it's doing to her. So he's just like, I'm
Yeah,
just
so
gonna bail.
like everything that they did worked. There wasn't one time. No, you know what? There was. I lied. There was one time where I thought, okay, this is a little ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It was the end scene where that almost looked like a helicarrier. By the way,
Uh-huh.
when the helicarrier blew up.
Yeah,
the-
it did.
the-
It did. I was wondering what that was.
When it blew up, I was thinking, okay, this is a little like you didn't have to blow up the entire, aircraft carrier to get your point across,
Right.
Because that was a lot of wasted CG for me. What I liked about the movie up until that point was that everything wasn't grounded, but it looked like they weren't forcing CG into the scene. Like obviously Colossus had to be CG, but
Yeah.
they were using like prosthetics to get his arms and his hands all jello looking when
Yeah.
he broke them punching Colossus. So yeah, there were special effects in the movie, but there were not a lot of over the top special effects. And
Yeah, I read
course,
that
it comes to the
they did
end.
it kind of on a shoestring budget too. I heard it was like $58
Yeah.
million or something like that for the movie, which is really like they spent their money pretty well. And this movie's
Yeah.
gonna make triple that, easily.
It said I read something today that it said it was originally projecting to be like 50 or 60 million, and they were to be happy about that. But now it's projecting to be in the 100 millions.
Holy cow! I would be thrilled if this movie did 100 million. I really would. I mean, 60 million would
Well,
have been
I would
amazing
say
too.
like they were saying like 90 to 100 million. So it wasn't like 200 million type movie, but they were
Right.
saying that it was projecting a lot higher, and it broke the R record for midnight releases.
It beat out Hangover. Yeah, Hangover 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's number one.
So that's why, and they were projecting like 30 million for Friday.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I really hope it does well. I think they did build a lot of hype on this movie, and the marketing has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so they deserve all it, but they spent their money like really, really well. Like they knew what they were doing, and they didn't. That aircraft. So the aircraft carrier thing. When I first saw that, I immediately went to like, I wonder, is this anywhere near where Captain America, Winter Soldier happened when those things blew up in the air and they fell to the ground and crashed? And I was like sitting there going like, what is that thing? Because it looked pretty damaged, whatever it was to begin with.
Right.
And so I immediately
Yeah, I
thought
don't know.
about that.
It kind of took me out a little bit of the movie because I was trying
It
to
did.
figure out what it was.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in the X-Men universe that looks like that.
No,
In the
I don't know what
X-Men
that
movie
was.
universe, anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, is that the Avengers helicarrier that's like damaged? Like, what is that thing? Because it was,
Oh, you know what's
it was
crazy
enormous.
too? Speaking, I don't know why I thought it. Well, probably because aircraft carrier makes me think of like army planes and stuff. So, did you notice that when Colossus and I can't even remember her name, they get on the X jet, and the X jet is an SR-71.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, the original X jet, I think, in the comic books was an SR-71. They just changed it for the Singer version, but they went like comic book. They went comic book on it because I'm almost positive the original X jet was an SR-71.
That scene almost kind of didn't work for me, only because I was like, wait a minute, they're the only like, they're just taking that jet, like they're not asking permission, or wait a minute, isn't the other X-Men using it? Like, I was just like.
Well, they fixed that with the joke that he fucking made about.
Yeah, I get that. I it's kind of like one of those things where you just like let it go. It's not it's just a minor quip. But I thought to myself, like, how are they taking this thing out of here, and where are they gonna land it? You know, and like I just thought.
But we're just nitpicking though because this movie is fucking awesome.
Oh my god! When it shows, when they're back in the cab at the end, and Colossus is like hunched over in the back, and and it's like hitting every speed bump, every pothole. It's just hitting the ground.
And then there's a guy in the fucking trunk.
Oh yeah.
That whole scene where Deadpool's like, "You better let him go," and he's like, "Kill him."
Yeah, he keeps whispering to. Yeah, there's a little subplot with the cab driver that was awesome.
Yeah,
That
worked well too.
Yeah,
that worked fucking awesome too. The fact that he takes a cab to go kill people.
Yeah. And they load up with all these guns and they throw it in the back, and they get there and the guy drives off and he's like, "Fuck, I forgot my bag," and he's trying to call him, and the taxi cab gets in an accident, and you're like,
the guy's in the trunk.
That guy's in trouble. Everything paid off in this movie. I mean, that we talked about that with the Avengers and the whole Thor's hammer, but they did it exceptionally well in multiple cases. It wasn't just one thing where it paid off in the end. There was multiple.
Yeah, there were like
things.
little. It wasn't like a major plot point like it was in the Avengers, but
right.
Every single payoff in this movie is funny. It's just really funny.
And you don't see it really coming. You're just like, oh shit, that's awesome. Like you kind of knew some things were coming, but when they hit, you still fucking laughed. You're just like, oh my god, like you could sense it coming, and you're like, oh no, they did. No, they're not going to do that.
We're not even doing enough justice of how many jokes we're missing right now from that movie because it was just so good. Even the mid credits where they were doing the animated thing, and they were showing the names of people like. He said that guy's, that guy's hot, and he got a little boner. The little cartoon Deadpool got a boner.
Yeah,
and they kept getting bigger and bigger between each person.
Well, the unicorn, he gets on the unicorn and starts stroking its horn.
He jerked off its, and it comes rainbow.
Yeah, it comes,
and it shit out money.
Yeah, everything. everything they did was fantastic. It's such a fun movie. It's a fucking date movie, dude. That's what blew me away. I was like, oh my god, I could have took my girl to this. I think she would have enjoyed it.
My friend was saying that his I think she's 13 years old. He was saying before the movie started, he was thinking that he was going to take her. I think I should take her. What do you think? I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's rated R.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes into the movie, he turns to me and says, I can't take her to this movie.
No, man. It's so... how many times
especially after the Ryan Reynolds 87.
87
especially after the strap-on scene. He was like, no fucking way. I'm not taking her to this movie.
I can't take her to see this. I think girls would have dug that movie. I mean, for multiple reasons. One, he's like really charming and all that. He's good looking and all that stuff in the beginning. And then the strap-on scene. I'm sure every girl would want to do that to their boyfriend. And then like one of the X-Men, the sidekick was a girl, and she was really cool. She
was.
I like how that the one girl, I can't remember her name. Was it Angel Dust or Angel? I can't remember. She came and like punched Colossus, and he just
Colossus.
flew. I was like, wow. And she beat the crap out of him, you know?
Yeah, she did.
And then the other girl just kind of like sonic waved and hit her real hard. And I was like, holy shit, that was really cool. Yeah, everything they did. I was really surprised, honestly, about the whole X-Men thing. I think they did a great job, you know, adding those little sidekicks for him to play off of. And because Colossus, you know, is such a stand-up guy and like really like, you know,
I don't even know how they're gonna. I don't even know if they made an X-Men movie how this would play out with like because think about the tone of the Bryan Singer movies and now picture Deadpool in the middle of it.
well,
You know,
Deadpool would be like, I'm trying to like attribute it to somebody from the Avengers, like popping in, you know, like if Robert Downey Jr.
yeah.
Iron Man popped
Well,
in for a little cameo or something like that.
but that's
I
not even
can't
the
see
same
Deadpool
thing as a
throughout a whole.
cameo because what happens in the comic books when he's in somebody else's comic book, he breaks the fourth wall there too.
Oh
So
God,
that's why I'm trying to picture. I'm trying to picture. You know, I know a singer said this was his last one, but just picture the movies that he's made so far, like Days of Futures Past, and picture Deadpool in there, and like it doesn't work in my head. So
no,
kudos to whoever director does do that and make it work because I can't picture it right now.
well, yeah, and even Matthew Vaughn when he did X-Men First Class was serious. It was like a
Yeah,
serious
so
movie.
you know, try to picture Deadpool in there breaking the fourth wall in the middle of what's going on.
It's going to be difficult, but you know, he
Because
would have to be.
the tones of Singer's jokes work for that movie. You know,
Oh, X-Men 2 had a ton of them with Wolverine, you know, when he's just
Yeah.
like, you know, what are
He's
you
like,
professor of? And he's like
yeah.
history or whatever. And like, when he
Art
gets,
or
oh,
something.
when the cops show up and they're like, put your knives down or whatever. And he's like, I can't, you know, and
or the scene where they steal Cyclops' car. And the first song that comes on is like
Yeah.
In Sync or Backstreet Boys or whatever.
yes. Yeah. Some of the jokes are really subtle and some are, you know, really out
Yeah,
there.
but they fit that tone. You know, they fit that.
Yeah.
I just don't see Deadpool breaking the fourth wall and cursing, you know, the whole time. Or would they even let
Right.
him curse because you know you can't make an R-rated X-Men. You got to get that
No.
to PG-13.
You would have to, because they had an F word in both X-Men First Class and in Days of Futures Past.
Yeah, but
both
not the way that Deadpool
Both
would
jokes
use it.
involved. No, that's true. Both jokes involved, you know, Wolverine. So like if they had Deadpool, you know, in an X-Men movie, they would have to tone it down drastically. They'd have to figure out how to do that. But I was reading about, you know, how people are, you know, really love this movie, but now everyone's nervous for Deadpool 2 because now they're thinking, well, you know, and this is the curse of every rated R movie before it, like Expendables and Matrix and all those movies that were great. The first movies were great rated R movies that they're going to turn it PG-13 to try to draw a bigger audience. And I
Right.
hope not. I hope they don't fucking do it. That would be a huge mistake.
Yeah,
Huge
if
mistake.
they turn this PG-13, you'll know it's some fucking idiot suit at Warner Brothers saying, "Well, now we have a franchise. We gotta be careful." You know, and just like I can't stand when suits get involved in movies like this where you're losing sight of the fact of why it worked in the first place.
Well, I don't think a franchise like Deadpool could be in a Warner Brothers situation. You know, I honestly am surprised Fox really put their.
Why the fuck did I say Warner Brothers?
I don't know. I thought maybe you were saying if you know they were at Warner Brothers, someone would make it PG-13, which you're probably right. Even though that's not what you thought you said, but still, I'm like, Vic, you're right. Even though you don't even know what you're saying, but Fox, I was really surprised because after the Fantastic Four debacle,
They still
This
say they didn't
is-
want to let it go.
this movie, it's almost as if they just stayed out of the fucking way. They're just like, here's the money, go make your Deadpool movie. Which they need to do that more often. You know?
Well, they said that was a blessing in disguise because of how little the money cost, how little the movie cost to make. They were able to do things and not have the studio breathing down their necks. If they had X-Men money, then we probably wouldn't have gotten the same movie.
Well, even Bryan Singer, when he did the first X-Men, if I remember right, he asked for like 100 to 120 because there was some things he wanted to do, and they only gave him 75, and they said, this is all you get. So when you go back and watch the first X-Men movie, that's money pretty well spent. And then when the second movie came out, you could tell that it said, okay, here's more money. And that opening sequence of X-Men 2 is still fucking amazing. With the Nightcrawler jumping around.
Oh
and
my
shit.
God. That's one of the best opening scenes of any comic book movie you'll ever see.
Yes, so good. This
I got
movie
the biggest cheer when after Nightcrawler disappeared after he got shot in the arm.
Yes.
The theater went fucking nuts because I'd never seen anything like that before.
It's so well done too. It still holds up.
It's such a great scene. It's such a perfect comic book scene.
Yes, and a great opener to a movie. I mean,
it's so good.
It's scary. It's thrilling.
That set the tone for the entire movie because you knew after that opening sequence that you were going to get a fucking ridiculously good movie.
Yes, it's still one of my all-time favorites. X-Men 2 is amazing. It still
stands
good.
up. Still stands up really well.
But see, so I'm a little scared as far as like Deadpool 2 is concerned too, because of the level of, writing and jokes and all that stuff. Like it could get old, it could get weird, it could get, it could go any number of ways wrong. And they just have to really be careful what they do next. And I really think it'd be a big mistake to go PG-13. They need to keep it R-rated all the way through.
PG-13, just doom it right now. Don't even make it if you're going to do it PG-13 because it's going to get fucked up.
No, this is like a really, really hard R. I mean, there is a lot of nasty jokes in this thing. But, but for whatever reason, coming out of his mouth makes it so charming and funny.
Kind of like I always talk about Ari from Entourage.
Totally.
I've never heard anybody curse like Ari did in that movie
and he gets away
or that
with
show. Yeah, and in Deadpool, I've never seen anybody, do sarcastic insults like Ryan Reynolds, and now you give him this free reign, a hard R, and the comic book movie that he wants to make, and they just nailed it.
His sidekick buddy is just as fucking funny as he is. T.J. Miller, that dude was hysterical, and he gets away with it too. Just the way his voice is and the way he delivers, he could get away with that kind of stuff. Like he was saying all those wisecracks to like the bad guy sitting in his bar, and he could get his ass kicked, and killed. And he's being all sarcastic. I was like, oh my God, like it's awesome. They did just such a good job with casting, and the jokes were amazing. And so the sequel, I'm really looking forward to. I'm leery about, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I'm just looking forward. I'm hoping Ryan Reynolds now has turned this corner where he's going to start getting, really good roles. Like, start having a Chris Pratt type of career, like Chris Pratt's got some really cool shit coming up. I don't know if you've read about any of the stuff he has, but it's very diversified, and looking forward to that. Oh, so one more thing. What trailers did you get before the movie?
I got the old Batman Superman one.
Oh, seriously? They played the brand new one that dropped the other day.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were supposed to get, but we didn't. Maybe they didn't transfer it to IMAX.
Oh, well, okay. So there was one trailer in particular that had everybody freaking out over. Do you remember a movie called Shoot 'Em Up a few years ago with Clive Owen?
Yes.
Okay.
That movie kicked ass.
So,
but I don't think it was called Shoot 'Em Up.
I think it was called Shoot 'Em Up, but picture that, but the movie completely in first-person perspective, like you're playing a first-person video game.
What movie is this?
I can't remember now for the life of me what the name is. I was hoping you saw that trailer too, and you would tell me what it was, but I can't remember.
I didn't see it.
So I have never seen anything like that. It's a whole hour and a half movie from a first person. You're the person running around. It's shown out of their eyes. And it was very jarring, but like all the fight sequences and all this crazy shit happens all from your point of view. And so I'm really interested. Like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, they've done certain things like that in certain movies, like Doom, with The Rock.
Oh, God, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was a terrible movie, but at the very end, they did that thing where it was all first-person perspective.
Right.
Well,
right.
this movie's like that all the way through, apparently.
No,
So
I didn't see that.
I'll find that. I'll try to find that trailer and I'll ship it off. I'll send you the link. But I was like, dang, we got to talk about that trailer because it's just freaking. I've never seen anything like that, and the audience was just going crazy over it. But yeah, the Batman v Superman trailer. Interestingly enough, everyone was like, meh. No one even cared, said anything about it while we were sitting there. And then probably because it's a DC movie and a Marvel, DC trailer and a Marvel movie, which I found kind of strange too. But
Big thumbs up for Deadpool.
big thumbs up, huge thumbs. Go watch this movie. You will not be disappointed. It is, unless you don't like sarcasm and jokes and dick and fart jokes, then stay away from it. But
And violence.
It's
and lots of
awesome.
violence and cursing.
A lot of violence, heads being lopped off, people getting shot left and right, people getting screwed up the butt.
There's no reason.
It's got everything you want. Everything.
Unicorns getting jacked off.
Yeah, it's awesome, totally awesome. And Ryan Reynolds is
that's
back.
it. Episode 8's in the bag.
Episode 8, and yeah, we'll be back next week to talk about some more shit with you guys.
Yep.
So, episode 8, chew on this. Nerds United podcast. This is BJ.
Vic.
All right, later.
Later.